A draft report by the Basic Education Portfolio Committee following an investigation, an oversight visit, in schools and other educational institutions in Mpumalanga has revealed that 200 visually impaired and deaf pupils at a special school are using pit toilets. It's also highlighted that the department's school infrastructure backlog runs up to 40.7 billion rand. For more on this, we're joined by Jasper Zwane, spokesperson for the Mpumalanga Department of Education. Very good afternoon to you. Thank you so much for your time this afternoon. More than 200 pupils suffering because of this backlog. They're blind, visually impaired learners who are having to use pit latrines. It's a shocking revelation. Were you aware of this?
Yeah, greetings, Mpo, and greetings to your viewers, and thank you so much for the opportunity. We do confirm that there are 200 learners at Slindobuhle, a special school, 31 of them being blind and 77 of them who are deaf, and some that are intellectually disabled. That school, it has 10 functional waterborne toilets, but it also has a pit latrines. It has a combination of both. They use pit latrines in instances where there is inadequate supply of water in that locality, and in instances where they have water, then they resort to the waterborne toilet. It's something that we are not happy about as the department. To this extent, we do interact with the municipality, not only this one, but throughout the province, to ensure that the provision of water supply is considered, especially for our schools. If there is one thing that we do not wish to see, are pit latrines. We have waged war on pit latrines as the province. Out of the 1,600 schools, there are only 36 schools as we speak that are still having a combination of waterborne toilets and pit latrines. And by next year, 2023 financial year, we would have eradicated completely the pit latrines in our schools. So we do share the sentiments of the members of the portfolio committee in that it is something that we should only read about.
And the other shocking matter that MPs discovered was that there's a shortage of 16 classrooms at Slindobuhle Special School. What are you doing about that?
Now we will be supplying the school with the necessary classrooms, and we would also appreciate that we are constructing a fully fledged school for the deaf and the blind at Mpumalanga local municipality. I think the construction will start in earnest, and as soon as we have completed that, we will be able to ensure that the plight of the learners with the special education needs is taken care of in the province. And we want to encourage our parents to make sure that these learners are in schools and they are learning, and the Department of Education, as a caring department, will make sure that as we admit them, they are taken good care of.
The school had not been visited by the department because some of these challenges were recognized for the first time. That's according to looking at this. Is that?
It's not correct.
We
do visit our schools on a regular basis, and hence we have a fair understanding of what is obtaining in each school. We have since provided this school with the mobile toilets as well to mitigate this challenge.
So the department's school infrastructure backlog is at 40.7 billion rand. That's according to the report. I mean, now you're telling me that you have since visited the school and it wasn't the first time you knew of the problems, but the backlog is massive. Surely there must be
you are correct.
A plan here to get through it.
The backlog is massive. Hence, we speak to the school governing bodies and the school communities to make sure that the infrastructure that they have at their disposal, they take good care of it. It's not vandalized, it's not broken into, and so that we can be able, to build more classrooms. There is influx of people that are coming to the province. We appreciate that areas like Mbombela, Emalahleni, Steve Chwete, Ermelo, and Secunda are, economic hub for the province, and from time to time would have a number of people coming, and that also put a pressure on the department. We do confirm that we do have, a serious backlog.
So what are you going to be doing to fast track this? Because, I mean, as you make mention and paint the picture of the combination of pit-latrines and regular flushing toilets because of a water situation, it still sounds unacceptable, Mr. Zwane, because pit-latrines, we've seen how much of a danger they pose. I mean, now we're speaking about visually impaired learners, which exacerbates the situation and makes it sound even worse. Surely there should be some urgency here to address this as soon as possible.
You are correct. We have already, I've indicated that we have provided additional mobile classrooms. We are engaging the municipality from time to time to assist us. But you have a situation where in the entire municipality, be it, issues of load shedding, be it issues of cable theft, you find that there is, inadequate provision of water. That is when we experience, serious impediments. But we are optimistic that everything humanly possible will be done by the department, working with our partners to ensure that these learners are taken good care of and their dignity is, considered.
It also gets worse because the report speaks about 7 mobile classrooms at the Tsakani Special School in Bushbuckridge that does not have ablution facilities. It's 2022 and there are no ablution facilities. This is unacceptable.
Tsakani Special School, it's a state-of-the-art, very beautiful school, if you could maybe visit at some point. Very beautiful. It confirms the extent to which we are mitigating and we are addressing issues relating to the plight of disabled learners. However, because of its structure, they had more learners. They admitted more learners than the capacity of the school. Then the school requested additional classrooms, which are mobile classrooms. And in those mobile classrooms, unlike in the mainstream classroom, because in a mainstream classroom you would have, a class, and each class has a bathroom and a toilet in each class. And in this case, because it's mobile classroom, they needed then to have toilets outside, which is also something that we are not happy about. But we are optimistic that as soon as we finish the school for the deaf and the blind at Emalahleni, some of these problems will be a thing of the past.
Now, here's another issue, Mr. Zwane, which perhaps we would be liking some clarity on. More than 200 schools, 200 students, studying in different parts of Russia have accused the Mpumalanga government of lying to them about tuition and other matters that were supposed to be factored in by the government. But before we talk about this and perhaps get your response, let's perhaps listen in to what some of the students were saying.
At this very moment, we're just getting promises and promises, which are also are believed as lies from the government because they've lied to us before, telling us that they will pay for accommodation and they haven't paid for it. So they are busy saying that no, they won't let it get to that point that we're going to get evicted tomorrow. But we really don't know where we stand, and we are still in a position where we are fearing for our lives. Because even when we have to go to school tomorrow, I might be going to school to be told that I'm expelled and come back home to get an eviction letter. So nothing has improved thus far. And we are only hearing just a bunch of lies from them, even more, because they are not even being transparent with us. Instead of coming to us and communicating with us exactly what's happening, they're not saying anything to us.
What's your response to that, Mr. Zwane? The South African students are really very confused. They don't know where they stand. How can you respond to that?
Yeah, we can confirm that we do have 229 of these of students who are furthering their studies in the Federal Republic of Russia. And we wish to confirm to them and to assure them that the Department of Education in Mpumalanga, the current department, will do everything possible, humanly possible, to ensure that their studies and their accommodation in Russia, we understand the situation there now, is not compromised at all. So we have spoken to the embassy, South African embassy in Russia. They are asking us, to ensure that we meet the deadline. We have been given up to the 14th of October to make sure that all the outstanding issues are addressed. We are satisfied in that we have been able to process stipend for these letters. About 80 of them received it on Friday. Some will receive it tomorrow. And we've been able to work on the issues of, transportation for them. So what is outstanding now is accommodation and tuition, something which we are going to resolve this week. We regret that there is an impression created that we are not listening and we are lying. We would not do that, because these are students who were identified to undertake these studies such that they can come back to the province to assist in the growth and the development of the province. So there is no way where we would treat them like they are second citizens. In the event that that impression was created, we sincerely apologize, and we request that we work together to ensure that at the end of the day, they are happy, they are able to focus on their studies.
What happened to the allocated budget?
No, there is money. What happened here, Sisumpo, the issues were facilitated by an implementing agent whose contract has since expired, and we have re-advertised. But in the meantime, the department has instituted internal systems to facilitate, payments, and we have been successful in doing so in relation to the stipend they have received. In fact, this month, the MEC increased the stipend from 4,000 per month to 5,000. And this month, because the academic year in Russia starts in October, and for the first month of the academic year, they get double the stipend. So the stipend that I'm talking about, each student is receiving 10,000. So they will be receiving 10,000 this month, or have received some, and in the outer months they will be receiving the 5,000, because we understand the situation there. But like I am saying, what was outstanding was the issue of accommodation, because now that we don't have an implementing agent, we want to pay directly to the universities. And there was, a communication challenge until the embassy came on board, and it looks like all the doors are being opened. If we have, challenges, we will be able to communicate with the student. We wish that they can bear with us and work with us, but should not, under any circumstances, think that we are not, considering their plight. We can't send our own children to a foreign country and neglect them. This government can't do that.
So very quickly, Mr. Zwane, before we let you go, how are you going to be communicating with the students now? Because you've told us and the rest of South Africa, but the students are still wondering what will happen next.
Until now, simple, but we have a leader of these students in different universities, and we are able, through your platforms, Newzroom, Microsoft, and other related platforms, to talk to them from time to time.
Very well. We're going to have to leave it there for now. Thank you for your time, Jasper Zwane, spokesperson for the Mpumalanga Department of Education. Speaking to two matters there, of course, speaking about the blind pupils in Mpumalanga using pit-latrine toilets, as well as students in Russia, various universities, they're saying that they don't know what will happen next. Their tuition and accommodation fees has not been paid. But, of course, we continue to bring you more news, turning to news-making headlines further afield shortly after this.